The following podcast is improvised satire and all characters are fictional.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Ardenfell. This is the podcast where I interview employees of the many subsidiaries of my favorite multinational conglomerate, Hogswood Cooper Media. Welcome to the corporation. My first guest is the VP of Monetization at WheeFly. That's WHEE-Fly, the low-cost airline that connects dozens of U.S. cities. Of late, the company has been posting losses, which has inspired WheeFly to get innovative in how it brings in additional revenues. In his spare time, he collects funny keychains. Please welcome Earl Faintway. Hi, Earl.
Hello, Dean. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Boy, airlines are having it hard these days, and you got to make every dollar count, huh?
Yes, you really do. You know, people are not flying as much as they used to, and that is just a real kick in the nuts.
Is it? Yeah. Now I know you've done the bag, you know, the charging for bags that used to be free and all that sort of thing. And you're I think one of the only airlines that doesn't give anybody any kind of refund when you cancel their flight.
That's right.
Very smart.
Yes, we require our guests to make up their mind, and if you can't, then you should be punished as far as I'm concerned.
Even though some of those flights get canceled because of weather or what have you.
Listen, I'm not God. I can't control the weather.
Sure.
People can do plenty of research and figure it out. And, you know, if you really want to know, hire a meteorologist. But that's not my problem.
Sure, of course, yeah. That's not my problem could be, you know, almost your motto in terms of the monetization of the airline.
That is a slogan that's kind of one of our mission and values, really. We try to embody that in just about everything that we do at WheeFly, and that's not my problem.
No, that's not your problem. And so, you know, another thing that you're getting some flack for these days is that you've incentivized your fairly low-paid employees to tell people that their bags don't fit on the plane, even though they clearly do. And then you get to charge them an extra $50 in fees or what have you. So,
well, you see, the tactic there is that, especially when it's flying families, that they really don't want to waste any more time because their kids are probably driving them crazy. Right. And let me tell you, that is a ripe situation for an upcharge. If you've got someone, they're not going to want to sit in line and argue when their kids are screaming and tugging on them. Right. The average customer is looking to just make a quick decision and move on. Right. And I would prefer that decision be one that increases our bottom line.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. And then people get all mad at you, and sometimes they catch the employee in the act of, you know, oh, this clearly fits. What are you doing? Why are you upcharging me? And then they have to play dumb or back or walk it back or what have you. But that's worth it if it means an extra 2% on your bottom line.
Oh, absolutely. Most of the time, people don't seem to question it. They really just, I think they've come to expect it from WheeFly now. We've attracted a certain clientele, you know? Yeah. And to just put the word out there for anyone watching, we won't ask a lot of questions if you won't ask a lot of questions. So, you know, cash is a great way to pay for your flight. We are never going to look inside your bag, but we will charge you a little bit more money if it's just, you know, close to that edge, you know?
Interesting. So I have noticed recently that there seem to be two lines in your section of the airport. You've created sort of your own security after the real security.
Yes.
And you will check people's bags unless they pay you an additional fee.
That's true. That is a good point.
So just hold them up, essentially.
It is in the terms of conditions that we will ask you questions unless you pay us not to. You see, because that's just another opportunity to monetize something a little bit more. There are people who like to fly around the United States who would rather you not look in their bags. Right. So you have to kind of set up a little bit of a situation where you're going to look in someone's bag. So the folks who don't want anyone nosing around, we really took the idea from Disney, if you're willing to believe it.
Really?
From like Disney World, you know, they have the speed pass where you get to cut the line.
So there is a speed pass at the TSA too, but you didn't take the idea from that.
No, that was a little too official, you know. We would prefer the TSA have as little to do with our airline as possible.
I see. So you don't have a good relationship with the TSA?
Well, it's frictionless only because we just don't engage with them.
Oh, really?
Unless we absolutely have to on a legal sense. Most of the time, time, we adhere to whatever things they try to tell us as close to as not doing as much as possible as we can.
I see. So it's like the TSA is kind of like the boss that comes around once in a while, and you guys are the employees who can't be bothered.
Right. And some things have to be held on with duct tape just to pass. But
now, at first I thought you were speaking figuratively when you said duct tape, but I have seen some of your planes, and it does seem like some of the places that should have bolts do have a gray tape.
Look, when I was a young man, my father instilled in me the lesson that you use something until it is absolutely broken.
Absolutely.
If I drop my phone on concrete and it cracks the screen, I'm not going to pay a dime to fix it as long as I don't cut myself.
Isn't that the problem, though? Things aren't made the way they used to. People don't use things until they break and then fix them again the way our dads used to fix them until that's the problem. People just want to throw it away and get a new plane.
The older generation also didn't have a really cash flow mindset on them. A lot of them wanted to make quality goods that wouldn't break, but where's the monetization in that? You want a good that is likely going to break so that your customer that's become dependent on it will then pay you for another one.
So I understand that completely, but how does that track as it relates to the plane that you have to fly every day?
Well, you see, there are various tiers of tickets that you can buy. If you want a very cheap ticket, the safety and put-togetherness of the plane that you may be on might not be to the same degree as one of our upper echelon platinum tickets, which are planes that are refurbished usually from wars or accidents within the last 5 to 10
So
years.
you don't have any brand new planes?
No, brand new planes are incredibly expensive.
But you're paying for a little less risk, essentially, and you want to take the risk. It's like taking cargo or steerage in the Titanic, right?
Exactly.
You pay for what you get, what you pay for, and if you pay
100%
the bottom, then you get the plane that's held together by duct tape.
It really puts the decision in the hands of the customer.
Love
and isn't that what the free market is all about?
You're right. It sure is. It sure is. It says here you have a hobby of collecting funny keychains.
Yes.
Which must be an easy... I'm sure you fly all over the world probably, and you get to collect funny keychains from all sorts of places,
Yes.
huh?
I have a board in the back of my house where I've collected at least one keychain from all 50 states.
Oh, wow.
And even a couple of the territories.
Wow.
And it's really quite fantastic.
What are you looking for when you pick up a keychain from a state?
The first thing I looked for is heft. I don't like a light keychain.
Okay.
I like to know that it's there.
So when it says you collect funny keychains, is it the sayings on them, or is it just the shape? Or
it could be anything. Sometimes they're funny looking. Sometimes they say funny things like, "If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best." They say funny things like, "Not in my house." Any kind of random quip with zero context that you can slap on a keychain. That's where I'm at.
Sure, it's like essentially if you went into like a Home Goods or whatever, and you were looking for things to put on your wall at the Airbnb or something.
Yes.
It's like live, laugh, love type of things.
Absolutely.
Wine a clock somewhere or whatever.
God bless this mess.
Yeah.
All kinds of things. And honestly, those are the hardest ones to find because I'm not the only one who thinks they're hilarious, clearly.
Sure. Yeah,
they're just so difficult. So when I find them, sometimes I'll buy one, sometimes I'll buy more than one.
Oh, yeah.
They make a great gift.
Sure. So you've got that pegboard on the back of your house that has all the different states on it.
Those are the different states, and then my actual keychain that I have for my keyless car is basically all just keychain tags, all of my favorites. It's a giant ring, and it's very bulky, but I can't leave home without it. It's like a comfort blanket.
So the keys that you walk around with every day are essentially like it's a giant glob of keychains that you enjoy?
Yes, I don't actually have a physical key in my entire life.
Interesting. Now, let me ask you this before we move on to our second guest. What is what would you like to do in terms of monetizing the airline that you haven't gotten to do yet?
One project that is just hard to get off the ground, to use a little bit of a plain pun there, is this one where, you know how you could get your Amazon Prime or some other streaming service and you can pay for an ad-free version of it?
Sure.
Well, what I've realized is that most airplanes are ad-free right now. I'm trying to make them ad full so that we can also add that to the ticket price. If you would like your seat as a non-advertising seat, that sounds like a right place for an upcharge.
Right. And I know you don't. You're one of the few airlines that hasn't invested in headphone jacks for the televisions in front of. So all the televisions just blaring full blast different different channels.
Yes, it is a little bit of a cacophony out there.
So you've got you're saying we'll just blare ads at you. That you won't be able to turn off unless you pay for the subscription service.
Did you want to watch Frozen 2 on your airplane? You're going to have to watch about 5 ads before we'll let you watch about 15 minutes of it. But you could always buy the ad-free experience.
And then people will be able to watch 2/3 of a movie before their flight lands, which is what usually happens anyway.
And it creates a hunger in them to finish it later, which they can then, rent it from Hogswood Cooper Media streaming.
Sure. Well, that's great. Very exciting stuff. And I would love you to stick around while I talk to my second guest. We'll bring you back.
Sure.
Excellent. Well, folks, my second guest today makes the old look new again, albeit temporarily. We're going to find out what that means. But first, let's pause and hear a quick word from our sponsor. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back. I'd like to remind you at this point, as I do every show, that I, Dean Ardenfell, am not and have never been an employee of Hogswood Cooper Media or any of its subsidiaries. We've been talking to Earl Faintway from WheeFly Airline, and now I'd like to bring in my second guest who works for a totally different subsidiary of Hogswood Cooper. She is a professional hair and makeup artist for Hogswood Cooper News. Each morning before the broadcast, she makes older white conservative male pundits, a group known for its inexpensive haircuts and refusal to moisturize, look more human on your HD TV. On weekends, she sells expired cosmetics in the park. Please welcome Kendra Blingberg.
Hi.
Hi, Kendra. Wow, you do hair and makeup for all these old guys on the TV, huh?
Yeah, they're so old, but I make them so young, but I've been doing this for the last 20 years or so,
really?
I'm really good at this.
You're really good at, I mean, I imagine, with the advent of HDTV, you've got all these, most of the panels that happen on Hogswood Cooper News are elderly white men.
Yeah.
A lot of liver spots. A lot of blemishes.
Yeah, a lot of scratches.
Sure. Scratches.
Or like this one guy, I can't say his name, but he has a cat. So it's kind of like I always know what to do there.
I see. How do you take an old saggy freckled white man and make him look toned and beautiful for the camera?
So my magic thing is always I go straight to the tape. This makeup tape.
Oh.
Have you seen it? It's you put it in the eye area.
Oh.
And then you lift it in the back.
I see.
So they are they have a lot of wrinkles, but you can't see it on TV. And also they're so pale, they're almost like they're dead before they come to my chair.
Yeah, because a lot of these men don't get out very much. They don't get out of their limousines or their mansions.
No,
or
they're very lonely.
Yeah.
They're kind of, sometimes they just come to my chair and just start crying,
Really?
And I'm like, dude, stop putting all your trauma on me. But
see,
I have to talk to them.
I have heard
it's my job.
That kind of happens when you have a very repressed older man who maybe hasn't talked about his feelings in a long time.
Yeah.
And then a nurturing woman puts her hands on you. Sometimes that can just trigger a waterfall of inappropriate emotions. Yeah.
Exactly. I've also heard that I have these healing hands.
Oh yeah.
I touch men in not a sexual way,
No,
it's not sexual at all. Sure. I know what you're thinking, I'm a good looking woman, but it's just I have these mothering healing hands, So
now, you don't think it's sexual, but do you ever have do men ever come on to you in an inappropriate manner?
Yes, all the time.
I'm sure.
But I'm single, so just let it out there, newly single.
Newly single.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I know that you put this big black sort of poncho on them while you're doing their hair and makeup, and you don't really know what's going on with their hands underneath the poncho. So I'm sure there's all sorts of inappropriate.
Yeah, I've been having trouble with that. I'm always like, Mike, put your pants on. I can see that you're taking them off again. So yeah.
So Mike is taking his pants off underneath the.
Yeah, he's trying to, but he starts wiggling and stuff. So it's he's not. Oh shit! I'm saying the names, but maybe you can put beep over it. Is that possible?
Sure. If you really want us to, but it doesn't seem like you're all that bothered by it. It seems like a lot of with all this Me Too nonsense, a lot of women really hate it when men take their pants off without telling women.
Yeah, it's kind of, but they're so old, so I'm like, oh.
I see. It's almost cute.
Oh yeah, because they're I have the power over them when I'm they're in my chair.
Yeah, right.
Telling me all their problems, all their secrets.
Weeping about their lives while you give them a tape facelift.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of tan because
bronzer.
Yeah, bronzer. Yeah. Sculpting their faces. It's like a fucking surgery I do on these men, kind of. It's not a surgery, but makeup can do a lot of things,
Yeah, it
in a lot of areas.
Make you look like a totally different person. Yeah.
Yeah.
You sell expired cosmetics in the park.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my duty, for the environment. There's a lot of shit that gets just thrown away and stuff.
Sure.
People are like, Kendra, you're just trying to make more money, off of these poor girls who just want to learn everything from you. But I'm trying to do it for the environment, It's not.
Okay, so that makeup would just get thrown away anyway.
Yeah.
Are you sanctioned to take it from work, or are you just sort of like throwing it in your bag?
I kind of just take it in my bag.
Well, if it's going to be thrown away anyway.
Nobody's asking questions. I just say, I used so much foundation on Paul. I used like 4 bottles, and nobody's asking questions because everybody knows how Paul looks when he's not wearing makeup,
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to say I'm stealing, but I'm not going to say I'm not stealing,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things, whoopsie daisies, something gets broken, has to go in a plastic bag and be taken home.
Yep.
Very cool. And so do the men who sit in your chair, do you ever have like real personality, strong personalities that are hard to get along with?
Yeah.
Is it ever tough?
Yes, like a lot of times. It's really tough.
Yeah.
So this one guy, I'm not going to name any names,
Sure.
He is like, he just starts throwing these tantrums, like, you're stretching my face too hard, Kendra, again, and starts screaming. And
I bet you do have a lot of, I mean, when you're talking about the old white men category, you probably have a lot of guys who are telling you you're doing stuff wrong or... right?
And a lot of them have PTSD also.
Oh, yeah?
So it's
From what?
kind of... Mostly childhood traumas. Yeah, sorry, I'm laughing. It's just when you hear it so many times, it just gets funny.
Yeah. So essentially, there's a generation, a generation of boomers who are sitting in your chair, and they all have a shared they all have the same trauma that they haven't dealt with from their past, and it's coming out in your chair with enough regularity that you can predict it now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's difficult. That must make you feel like a therapist sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. It's kind of hard. Yeah, I have to just like take.
You're sort of waving your hand as though you have to shake it off at the end of the day. And wow.
Don't take it home.
Don't take it home,
Kendra. Don't take it home.
Right.
Don't take these old men home.
I thought you were going to say don't take the problems of these old men home, but you said don't take these old men home.
Yeah, both.
Have you been guilty of bringing old men home before?
Yeah.
You have?
A few times.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. I mean, it happens. Office romances, blossom in the strangest ways,
Yeah, and I'm single,
You're right. Now you're
there
single.
was this one guy that, though I took home, that like we didn't do anything. He just started crying. It was Mark.
Wow.
Sorry, can you beep that? Sorry,
sure.
I'm always slip of the tongue.
It's not
my tongue.
Do you ever wonder if it's you? People. It seems like a lot of these men are crying around you.
Funny question. My therapist told me the same thing.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
is there something you're doing to get them
maybe it's the tape. I don't know. Maybe I'm taping them too hard because I have these...
It's almost like bondage or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, this is all fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to bring back Earl and just ask him, how he feels about that, and if he has any... Have you ever been on Hogswood Cooper News, Earl? You ever been in Kendra's chair?
Yes, I have been in Kendra's chair, actually.
Did you cry? I hate to ask.
Well, Dean, let me tell you, nothing scares me more than a strong woman who stands up for herself. So I was rife with fear. Well,
there it is. I guess that's what it is, maybe, huh, Kendra? Or do you think you're scaring men because they're used to women being subservient, and then they get in the chair and you tell them what to do and you're taping their face back?
Well, it's not my fault that they have so thin skin.
Literally or figuratively?
Around their eyes. Like literally. Sorry.
So literally, they have thin skin around their eyes.
Yeah, and also you tried to take your socks off, Earl. I told you, I don't like toes. Stop taking your socks off.
Wow, I didn't know we'd have a confrontation like this, Earl.
Sorry, Earl. I have to tell the truth.
You took your socks off in her chair?
The business was like mine, where if you pay more money, you get to do more things. And I thought I had paid the fee to take socks off. Listen, this is something, and we're getting a little personal here, but I have very sweaty feet.
Okay.
And I cannot possibly be comfortable in a makeup chair if I'm sweating through my shoes. I wasn't intending to do anything else except air these little piggies out, but I understand that my foot smell is maybe not the best. So 1,000 apologies. I would happily exchange you a ticket for our medium tier plane to anywhere in the eastern seaboard that we service. But if you do want to check a bag and if you do want to arrive, there's always a little bit of an upcharge in there.
Okay.
Well, Earl, I do accept your apology, but I've only once smelled feet like yours. And that was from a dead man. So, please don't take your socks off again.
I'm going to choose to take that as a compliment.
Wow. I mean, I would be a poor interviewer if I didn't ask a follow-up about the time that you smelled a dead man's feet. What were the circumstances under which that happened?
So my lawyer said to say no comment. But, it wasn't my fault. He was in the chair.
He was in the chair.
So
I suppose that happens sometimes when you have a very old man sitting in your chair. The statistically, once in a while, one of them probably will die right there in the chair, huh?
Exactly, yeah. But, you're probably thinking, his feet smelled so bad because he had been a corpse for such a long time. I hadn't thought that.
That
was not the case.
Okay, so you're saying that the fact that his feet smelled terrible had nothing to do with the fact that he was a current corpse. They just happened to smell bad when he died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I laughed. It's just...
It was my father.
Oh, is that so? So it's a genetic thing?
Yes, smelly feet run in the family.
I'm so sorry. And incredible that you would make the choice to sit in the same makeup chair that your father died in.
Well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, so they say.
And
he wasn't the nicest man, so if I can outlast him some way, I certainly will try. And if a makeup chair is the place, then
so you wanted it was
on.
almost like a pilgrimage. You said, I'm going to sit in that chair my father died in and air my piggies out.
Yes, you see, he's accomplished a lot in his relatively short life, and I am still trying to make a name for myself. Climbing up to VP of monetization is great and all, but he was a baron of the railway.
Oh wow.
So
I didn't know that one generation back we had railway barons.
In select places,
sure,
there's still a need. And in those places, you will find a baron.
Earl, I know all about your childhood because your dad told me everything. Just so you know, it's not a threat, but I'm not saying it's not a threat. Not a threat.
She's not saying it's not a threat.
Not a threat.
I am quickly beginning to realize why so many men cry in this chair, Dean.
That's it. Great.